Hey guys, it's testing time for my Ecoflow Delta Pro Ultra whole home battery backup here. I have 12 kilowatts of storage. I got the initial kit with one battery on sale. It was that price mistake on Home Depot a lot of people have been talking about quite a few months ago now. And then I was able to get the second battery refurbished off their eBay store for a pretty good price too. I'm going to show in this video how I plan on using it for my home. As a heads up at the beginning here, I don't have any solar hooked up yet. That's going to be down the road. I'm hoping I can just plug solar in and maybe just use it to charge my car and cover that. So let's get going here. I'm going to simulate a power outage and just test it with my house, make sure everything works good. I'm going to test it with a generator, keeping it topped off, small generator here. And then future plan, I do have the Ecoflow alternator charger. The catch on that thing is that it's not actually compatible with this battery. So I guess as a workaround, I'm gonna try, once they go on sale here soon, getting one of their smaller batteries that's supported by that charger. See if there's a way I can have the car alternator charger top off a smaller battery and then have that charge this one. I know it's less efficient, but there's 72 kilowatts stored in this car, and in an outage, even if it's being inefficient, that's still 5 or 6 days of my bare minimum usage to get by without having to use a generator. Okay, so let's shut the power off to the house and kind of simulate my setup here and what I will do in a power outage. And actually, before I do that, I am using the 30 amp 240 volt output on here. It's going to the generator inlet there, and on the flip side of that wall it is plugged to a 30 amp breaker on this box with a interlock switch. So let's go cut the power off, and I'm going to do it outside the house so that I can show my power back system here, my alarm that I have. Okay, power's off, and I suspect I do have a battery backup for my home server internet. Kind of strange I don't hear that beeping. I just want to check on that real quick first. I hear it humming. 18 minutes left. I don't know how well that's showing on there. We'll show that in a little bit, but that thing has a whole computer running on it. So that battery backup's running. What I'll do is turn on the Delta Pro Ultra. I purposely ran it down a few percent here, and I don't actually store it at 100%, but I purposely ran it down a little just to get it low enough to test the generator. Turn on the AC. Okay, it is ready to go. Come over to my breaker box. I'm gonna shut off a couple things. I want my heat pump off, and I want the hot tub off, because those are just wasteful in a power outage. So at this point, I already came in here and shut the power off here. I had to cut for that, but normally it would have been like this. Shut this off, slide this up, flip it on, and we're back. So now the whole house is running off that battery pack right now. Let's go take a look, see if it says what kind of output we're doing. So we've got 1200, 1100. It's totally silent right now. And then in a power outage, I would be turning on this device here. I'll put a link in the description. It's a power back utility power return alert. Basically, when the main power comes on at the road, this thing has wires wrapped around the cable coming. This thing has wires wrapped around the cable coming into the box, and it can detect if the power's back on at the street, in which case I can turn the battery off and turn the main power back on. So you hear all the Google Homes in the house turning on right now. There's a couple things beeping. I don't know. I know my electric charger, car charger, that'll beep. Probably the UPS in powering my server's beeping. So let's check the power usage here, make sure the internet's working. This is the Emporia View app. I have their box inside my breaker panel, and it's connected directly to a bunch of different circuit breakers and then a couple different plugs that I have that measure and break it out separate. I expected those to kind of be offline for a little bit because they did actually lose internet since their power was cut. But we're back on. It's not reading a total usage, which I guess makes sense because that's attached to the legs going into the house. However, we can still kind of see what's using what, and I can still get my total looking here. All right, so that was a smooth transition. Everything seems to be working fine. We're down a percent already at 93%. So the expected time is 9 hours and 8 minutes using 12 kilowatts of power at this wattage. In an actual major outage, an ice storm or snowstorm or something like that, I would start turning stuff off that doesn't need to be on. And when I do that, I can get it down to pretty much just a refrigerator, a freezer, a couple lights, my well pump, which barely uses any power. The well pumps, they use a lot to turn on. They'll spike up to 3,000 watts, but overall over the course of the day, they use like the equivalent of 200 watt hours for our house anyway. And then of course, thinking in the winter, we definitely want the boiler powered. And that uses about 300 to 400 watts when it's running because it has a power vent that uses a lot of power, and it's got pumps for each zone up here. And then let's get a generator going and just make sure, because I see a lot of people saying that you can't output 220 volts while you're charging it through the AC input. So I'm going to use that AC input on the Delta Pro Ultra and see if it will charge while I have the generator going. So right now we're at 93%. I'm going to be testing with this Sam's Club Special, the iPower Exo S2300i, 2300 starting watt, 1800 running watt generator, just to make sure I don't kill the generator. I plan on only running it around probably 1200 watts, maybe 1100, maybe a little less, I don't know. Because this is it was a $280 generator. It is an inverter generator, which is required for something like this. It does need clean power. I'm going to open up the Ecoflow app here and just check what my max charge speed is set at. So right now my AC charge speed is set at 700. Let's do 800. Okay. And I'm going to go set this up, turn it on. Once I start it, I'm going to get it out there. Okay, so choke. I hear some gas moving. Move the gas knob on to vent it. Do a gentle pull. And then we'll do the real pull. Okay, got the generator out there. Just letting it warm up for a few seconds. I'm going to close the garage door. I think technically you're supposed to have this plugged in first before you turn the generator on, but I did want it to warm up a little first too, so. Oh. So this comes with a plug. Sorry for all the shaking here. Comes with a plug. Plug it into an extension cord. Boom, I heard it click on. Looks like it failed to spool up the generator there. Let's trying again. Got to 500. I think my generator needed to warm up longer. But it's good to do this test. We got 2,000 that time. Try again. No. Let me bump my power down. This is good to know. This is why I'm testing this. Power in and out, we'll set it to 600. Oh, whoops. 600 AC charging. I might have had that at 1800 before. That's my bad. There we go. I think I adjusted the power input output and not the AC, and I was trying to run at 1800 right off the bat, which is the max of my generator, and it probably can't do that. Okay, I have it set at 600. We're doing 680. So we've got power going in, we've got power going out at the same time. AC in, AC out. 120 going in, 220 going out, 240 going out. I'm gonna creep up this speed a little bit. So AC charging is what I was supposed to do. I hear my generator kick up each time I bump this. Okay, 900. That sounds like about as fast as that generator's supposed to be going. We actually have closer to 1,000 going in. All right, I'm gonna come back in a couple of minutes and make sure that it can actually go up 1%. So let me cut to when it hits 93%, and I'll be right back. I did have to turn off some things for the input to allow it to charge at a higher speed, it seems. So back when I was using 1,000 out, it was only charging at 1,000 even when I bumped it to 1,200. But now that I turned some stuff off and we're down to 400 watts, now suddenly we're able to charge at 1,200. In fact, now I can charge at 1,300. Let's make sure this can go up though. So that might be something to keep in mind if you have a heavy load and plan on using more than 1,000 watts, that you won't be able to charge it at more than 1,000 watts. Still haven't seen a percent go up yet. Back before I wasn't paying attention and my input was like 980 and my output was 1,000. So yeah, it's not going to be going up. So let's keep it like this a little longer and see how it goes. Okay, we hit 93%, so we are charging. Looks like it would take 1 more hour at this rate to keep it charged. That kind of makes sense. So my input, 1,400. That's what I have the app set to. Let me turn on a load again and see if it reduces that input. Let's see, which one would have done it? This is the one. Here we go. Okay, we're back up to 1,000 watts. The input has dropped. The input was 1400 before. That's what I have it set to in the app. So I guess there is some truth to the rumors that in some cases you can't charge it while discharging at a high rate. I don't think this matters much for me in a power outage. My output's going to be around 400 watts. What is it doing? Kick back up to 1400 again. There's no heat coming out of the vents yet, no fans turning on that I hear. All I hear is the generator. Alright, so let's simulate the power going back on. First, let me bump this down. I didn't really want my generator running at 1400 that long. It is strange when I set it down to these lower numbers. It's not exactly following them. I don't know if it's because it's using some power from the generator to power the house. It's funny though, without an output, I bet it would be spot on 700. Okay, let's simulate the power going back on. Before I do that, let me just turn the generator off because I'm only planning on running the generator a few hours a day to keep it topped off during an outage. So most of the time it's just going to be battery only. So let's unplug it first. Boom. Okay, garage door looked like it used 400 watts. Good to know. All right, so let's go simulate the power coming back on, which will happen at the road. And in this case, power's back. Power's supposed to be back. Why isn't it? System armed. No power still. Ruh-roh. So let's turn off this battery. Maybe this power back's not going to work with this setup somehow. So we'll turn off this battery. Power's back. Huh, this thing wasn't working. Oh, it sounds like it's dead. It's trying to chirp. Well, that's good to know, I guess. So this thing uses a 9-volt. I don't think I've ever replaced it. And we've had days of power outages with this thing turned on. Well, anyway. That thing does work. I do like it. It is handy. Without that, I wouldn't know that the power has come back on. Basically, I would just have to keep testing it here and see, or just wait for the neighbors to let us know, something like that. So let's turn everything back on. Okay, everything's back on. You can see here, output should be on 0. What you don't want to do is have this plugged in while you have it plugged into the wall. It will trigger GFCI and just not charge. So you do have to unplug this. And now gotta plug that back in there. And now I'm good to plug it back into the wall. takes a little bit to think about what it wants to do, and then it starts charging. I think I have it set to 700 watts, so that makes sense. I'm going to turn the AC inverter off. And actually, I don't even want it to go any higher. This is a good level to store it at. Usually, and actually I'll run it down a little lower before. But usually I store it at like 85%. We'll just shut that off for now. So let me know in the comments if you have any questions on this that I might be able to answer, or different testing I can do. Like I said before, the goal eventually is to tap into the 72 kilowatts here using the alternator charger. I just need a supported battery so I can use that. I will say I did already try using I think this is a 700 watt DC inverter. Let me see here. So this is input of 12 volts, output of 48 volts at 20 amps, going from my car into the solar input on the Delta Pro Ultra. It worked, but anywhere bare frame I would touch on my car, I would get a nice electric shock. So something is not safe about this particular inverter. So I'm not even going to link to that in the description. Since that time, I've purchased the Ecoflow alternator charger when it was on sale for like I think it was $180. I just need a different battery that's supported by that so that I can tap into the big car battery, send it to a small battery, and then send it to this. So if I get that working, I will make a video on that. And thank you for watching.